So I thought it was important to speak about this after we have talked about life cycle of hardware. Do you think it's not a good idea? I want to, just to give you some short view of what we do at EPFL and in Lausanne in particular about the hardware after its death. So when you have your hardware decommissioned. So your computer has an history. It's important to keep it in mind. It is not only the 70s video games. You see this old television here is the Pong game, which is important. I don't know how many are still existing in the world, but it's not. It's a very few. You see, and you see this small child here, very happy to picture it with his iPhone and to play with him with the game. Imagine that. It's not usual to do that. And also the personal computers of the past are also worse to keep it. Here it's an event we had 3 weeks ago at the EPFL in the Musée Bolo. I will talk about that later, where the people, the attendees can, during one full night, play with the old computers here. But at the EPFL, we have also gems. Here you have the Cora. We found it in the basement of the EPFL. Nobody just remind that this machine was at the EPFL, and it was put back in the light of the day, and now everybody can see it in the museum here at the EPFL. So, what kind of computer or supercomputer, we are here with supercomputer people, has enough historical value? You see, we have also former myths. There's the Cray 2, you have the Cray 3D. Today, these computers are really rare, very, so you have not a few on the world, I don't know, 10 or 20, maybe 25, not more. And people 20 years ago say, okay, it may be important to keep this for future generation. For you, so everybody here can say, okay, I never work on that machine, I never administrate this machine, but I see that machine was like that, 2 gigs of memory, this big 1 ton big monster here. And we have also, you see that, the Blue Gene P. Oh, okay, you can say Blue Gene P is not worse to keep it because we have plenty on the earth and nobody cares about a very modern machine that was decommissioned at the beginning of this year at the EPFL. But the idea that they have in the Museum Bolo is to keep it running for the next 50 years. Yes. So we put down 75% of this machine and keep only 1 or 2 mid-plane in the machine. And Christian Clémençon, our colleague here, was happy to bring back this machine to life after its death. So where can you help? You from the institution all over Switzerland. The Bolo Museum is one of the largest Swiss computer collection. Yves said that it has now 1,000 machines in the collection, 1,000 machines. And the goal of a part of the museum is to keep this machine up and running, whatever its age. So instead of destroying a decommissioned machine after its life cycle, save it for future generation. Your digital history must be valorized, and the Musée Bolo in Lausanne can be an answer. Of course, your institution will be acknowledged and will be visible into a recognized museum. And that's right, it's recognized by the Swiss Society of Museums. Okay? But, of course, not every machine is important to keep. Okay, whatever cluster you have in your data centers are not very interesting. But every scientific equipment before 1980 I remember, or 1985, we can if you have a doubt, just call the boss. It's good to remember that, of course, after 1995, so the beginning of the cluster, of the Beowulf cluster, it's no more very special. But before 90, it's very interesting to keep it for the future generation. Or a very special contemporary machine like a Blue Gene P. Or a part of a non-interesting cluster. For instance, I keep that in mind. When I was working at University of Zurich, I remember they have a special IB switch. Not the switch was special, but the tool to keep out all the waves from outside. Okay, that's unique in Switzerland, and that's worth to keep in a museum. Also, the paper documentation related, I found in a waste bin, so in a trash. Here at EPFL, Stratégie du calcul scientifique à l'EPFL 1985. That's very interesting for a museum. If you have the same for University of Zurich, of Basel, or whatever, it's very interesting to keep for future generation. Or for, of course, create XMP user manual, we have one. That was also very special and worth to keep. And in case of doubt, you can drop an email to yves@bolo.ch, and the guy is here. I want to introduce him. So, the boss of the Musée Bolo. Yves, do I forget to mention something? For all these very interested people to keep their history up and running in Lausanne.
Okay, so and so I guess Vincent told you everything about the museum, almost. Actually, if you want to visit, it's not far from here. It's not far from here. It's in the computer science buildings at EPFL. And so, yes, I guess if you have questions about the museum, I'm here and I'm happy to answer. Yes?
You mentioned it's not far from where it will be this afternoon at CRPP.
Yes, at CRPP. It's very close to CRPP, like 2 minutes walk. And actually, I work very close to the museum, so if you want to have a visit, a personal visit, just... and so I can do it after your visit to the CRPP if you want. It's my pleasure to present you the museum. And maybe if you have questions now or at the visit, if you want to visit.
So keep it in mind, don't decommission, so don't put in the trash all machines that you decommission, maybe they can be valorized in the museum. That was my message to you. And I hope so. Do you have some questions?